and you know where to begin. I'll be here the whole time. If you want to ask me for help at any time, go ahead. And Peggy and Steve, would you mind turning off your cameras, please?
All right. So, Gail, what is the problem? What's the problem that we are going to talk about?
The problem is I don't know why I did something and how it benefits me.
I don't know why I did something.
Yes.
What is the thing that you did?
I took an intensive training to be a travel advisor. I started my own business.
Okay. And when did you decide to take this intensive training?
But the problem is, let me just say what my problem is.
Okay.
That's okay. I mean, the problem isn't that I took the class. The problem is that now I don't want to do it.
Okay.
But I want to.
Okay. So you signed up, you don't really want to do it, but you want to do it. So what's the problem?
Nice, Leah. I like that. I like how you're like, oh, I still don't really know what the problem is. That's very helpful. Yeah. And you can also ask, what's the problem with that problem? Keep
Yeah.
going. You're doing a good
So
job. Keep going.
what's the problem with that problem?
I really want to do it, but I'm stopping myself.
What's telling you that you're stopping yourself? What do you feel is stopping you?
I feel like the people I've spoken to who are travel advisors, they all say, oh, you'll learn this as you go along.
Okay.
And I'm not like that. I want to know everything and then do it if other people are involved. If it's just me, I'm cool with that. But
Okay.
if me learning along the way is going to affect somebody else, that makes me uncomfortable.
Well, if you is you learning along the way while being a travel agent, is that could that be a huge problem or a safety risk for someone else? Your potential clients?
So instead of suggesting something to her, which is she never mentioned anything about safety, just ask her a question.
Okay. Um,
Because she might be thinking right now, what the fuck is this lady talking about? I never said anything about that. And then it starts to,
Oh my God, I'm killing people.
right.
well, I was trying. Okay. So sorry.
We just don't want to talk from our perspective of what you think she's saying. Just ask her. So can you just clarify for me, well, what's the risk involved?
So is there anything stopping you from just going with the flow and learning as you go along and get more experience? Is there anything stopping you from that?
And go with less words. Just ask her what's stopping you.
What's stopping you from going with the flow and learning as you
Yes,
go?
perfect. That's it. So hard to do less. Do less.
The fear that I would do something wrong and be responsible for the outcome that affects somebody else.
What could go wrong?
Nice.
Well, I can think of a bunch of stuff, but I don't know if that's imagination or not. So,
Okay. So let's explore that. So you can list and decide, is this imagination or is this really what could go wrong?
So right there, you're already giving instructions. So just ask a question instead.
Okay.
And I know and by the way, Leah, I know you're a teacher, so that's your that's what teachers do is they say, okay, so I hear what you're saying, so let's try this. And that's exactly a natural thing for a parent or a teacher, but that's what I'm learning right now. So you're doing a great job.
I'm learning to unteacher.
Yes, exactly. That's right. That is right. Is take the teacher out of you and just change demeanor. That's the challenge.
Can we list the potential?
Not we, can you?
Can you list the potential problems that might arise?
The first thing that I can think of is time frame. If somebody wants to purchase a trip to Borneo, let's say, what stops me is feeling like, okay, I have to learn this. I have to learn who to contact. I have to learn how to get your payment. So you just sit there for a while and I'll get back to you when I'm done learning. And that feels unfair. And that somebody might get, impatient.
What's the worst case scenario if someone gets impatient?
It's a really good question.
Good, nice. When someone says that's a really good question, you know you're on their subconscious. So that's it. See, let her go with that. Good one. Now we got it. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Nice process instruction.
I guess the worst case scenario, if I really want to be cynical about it, is that's their problem. But I don't think that way. So I think the worst case scenario would be that I'm hard on myself. I don't know what I'm doing, or I did it wrong, or, I'm promoting myself. I'm a really, really, really experienced wilderness traveler.
Okay.
Doing it for somebody else is new. So I guess it would be that I would just do it all wrong.
What if you don't do it all wrong and you do it all right?
Excellent question. Beautiful.
That would be great. I'd make a little extra money. Somebody would see a part of the world that they might not have seen before. And it's just fun to share my enthusiasm for, monkeys or whatever it is. Usually monkeys.
How would that feel for you?
That would really feel fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
And it would help pay off a couple of bills that we just got hit with.
Can you do that without taking this course?
The course I already took?
The course that you have signed up for and are hesitant about taking.
No, I took the course. I went through a year's training.
Okay. So
I
what's
have
the
all this
problem?
training.
You have the course?
The training is like, I guess I learned A, B, C. I'm very linear. And what the course taught us is, how do you take payment? How do you do this? And blah, 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 blah. Okay, but it's like a Rubik's Cube. So I feel like I learned pieces, but I don't really know how to put them together. And I've been asking for help, and they're like, oh, well, that's in chapter 17 on page blah, blah. And I really don't learn that way. So I asked, can I have a mentor? Can somebody kind of show me all of this? Yes, that's another $1,200. And I don't want to do that either. So as I was taking the course, I realized I don't feel like I'm learning. I feel like I know where to get gas and I know how to change a tire, but I don't know how to drive the car. So I'm not sure I learned what I needed to.
So, Leah, what do you know about Gail's problem at this point?
What I know about Gail's problem is the course didn't deliver the information how she best understands and can then use the information. Gail is someone who loves travel, who is very comfortable with travel and wants to share that with others, but scared to make a mistake and affect someone else. Gail is a very diligent person who wants to know as much as possible before going ahead and doing something.
Okay, so that's an amazing summary. You learned all of that about Gail literally in 5 minutes. And so now, what do you know, which is a lot more, by the way, than a regular therapist could possibly learn in 5 minutes. So, what do you know about why she's here? What does she want?
I what I think she wants is to have a stronger confidence and trust in herself. So my question for you is, do you trust yourself to figure it out? You've been in the wilderness. You must have planned for a backpacking trip and this, that, and the other. You're like, I got all my things. I have the list. I have my backpack. It's so compact. You feel this? You feel this? It's light. You're so proud. You have it all. Every single trip is going to happen, always does. That's just the way that it is. So, do you trust yourself that you can help guide someone else in their trip and prepare them, and they're going to figure it out, and you're going to figure it out, and it's going to be okay?
I do. I trust myself to a very high, I have a very high standard. And I think it's just popped in. I think I'm having a
Go with it.
Well, my parents,
go with it.
So when someone says something popped in, be quiet and let them have it. Because we don't know what it is. We want them to keep it. Silence, that's it.
Well, okay, so I feel beyond responsible for how my actions affect another. And it might be, I recently just took early retirement from a federal job investigating abuse in nursing homes and advocating for people. And I would see how moves affected people negatively. Mm-hmm. And my job was to prevent that. So now I'm wondering if I'm, even though I'm not at the job anymore, still in that mode.
This is called spontaneously occurring subconscious phenomena. Because see, look at her. She's still like processing. Oh, maybe I am overlaying some things here. So we just let her do that. Let her do it. That's it, Gail. Good.
I want to hear that word again. Spontaneous.
Spontaneously occurring. Spontaneous. What is it? Spontaneously occurring, emerging, spontaneous, unconscious, whatever. I can't remember it either now.
I loved it.
I'll tell you in a minute. But it's like spontaneously occurring unconscious phenomena, which basically just means I get an idea from my head, which is like, where did it come from? Well, it's from your subconscious.
Well,
naturally occurring, whatever. Jim will tell us in a minute.
So the idea that's coming up in your mind and you're relating it to the job that I used to do, the decisions, the things I might miss. Here are all the possibilities that can occur. Are they the same possibilities for this new career that you're going for? The responsibility that you had before,
Good.
Is it the same moving forward? Is there the same weight?
Really great question. I don't think so, but
that's it.
I don't think so, but I kind of fell into this. I'm not a social worker. I have no training in these things. My background's in comedy, advertising, What I discovered after doing it for like 25 years is people are crazy. So I might not think that this has a dire effect on somebody else. But that means that they won't, and I've wrecked their life. I can see that, I don't think I wrecked your life. But it's dealing with people in these thought patterns. I just want to shut the door. But and the opposite happened a lot too, where it's like it doesn't bother you in the least that that you're starving your mother. That
Mhm.
doesn't bother them. So being subjected to people's thoughts about what's okay and what isn't okay, I guess I don't know how I would handle that because my inclination is to clobber them over the head. And so we're talking about a vacation. What's wrong with you?
Mhm.
Which is not going to be helpful.
Can you choose the clients you want to work with?
Helpful to clobber them?
Yeah. But to a degree, I could do that in my other job, which is one thing because I really enjoy that. I could say, whether you agree or you disagree, this is what the findings show, and this is what's going to happen if it doesn't stop. And you can fight me forever, and you can tell me, well, my mother was mean to me, and my mother did this, and blah 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 blah, and you don't understand. Oh, okay, so that's why it's okay to hit her.
Mhm.
And I didn't have to go down that road. I could just say, you keep talking, I will keep charging you $5,000 every hour, and then we could get to a place where it stopped. And I feel like, some of the horror stories I've heard from people is like getting calls at 3 in the morning. It's like, you didn't tell me that I wouldn't have an ice bucket in my room. And I guess I don't want to deal with it.
Do you have to deal with it? Is this something you want to have to deal with? Is this
I
a
think that's part of the thing is if you take people's money and you plan their trip, there's a reason why they chose a travel advisor instead of going to like Travelocity or something. And that's because there's nobody there on the other end. There's never a human.
Mhm.
With this, if anything goes wrong, you got me. You have my number. You can call me and I can help you. And so it bothers me thinking, I tell that to people. Well, what if I can't help them?
Mhm.
And what if they don't see that you can't be helped because of the choices that you made? And that's not on me, that's on you.
So just pause for a moment, Leah, and just let's think about like, what do you really, because Gail has a bit of a theory going on, right? Like it's a conscious theory. But
Mhm.
we're not here to discuss conscious theories. We're here to go into another part of her. So, what are
Okay.
you really curious about? Not just like, can you do it and what will happen if this and that, but like, what am I really curious about this problem? Like, why she has it? When did she realize she had it? How is she, managing with this problem right now? What are you curious about on a deep level without getting too caught up with her story?
Mhm.
Because she's really intelligent, right? So she's analytical. She knows what she's thinking. But I want to know a different thing. I want to know a new layer of her. And you can use the cheat sheet if that helps. Take your time.
What I'm curious about is what would the best case scenario look like for you?
Yeah, perfect. Especially since you asked worst case, we want to balance it out. So best case is a good question. That's it, Gail.
The best case scenario would be people don't necessarily need things to the degree that I need them, and they're satisfied, and they don't know I didn't do it perfectly, and they're happy. And I can keep learning, oh, I could do this a little quicker. Oh, I could do this a little bit better.
And can you imagine someone sending you a postcard of, from Borneo, like, Gail, we're out here with the monkeys and it's fucking awesome. Thanks for setting it up. Have a great weekend or whatever. Can you imagine that?
Yes, they'd be few and far between because I think I'm the only idiot that loves Borneo.
Yeah. And could you be the person who gets 20 postcards from Borneo because you're the Borneo expert?
Mhm. And you can share your enthusiasm.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
How does it feel to just think about getting that postcard from Borneo with the this is fucking awesome on it?
Well, so, aside from the fact that I'd be like, who
How did you
sends
send a postcard from Borneo?
who sends postcards anymore. No, it would really make me happy. And that's the goal, is to have somebody who feels fulfilled, who's happy. And who, yeah.
Can you imagine someone having an amazing trip, even if there was a small little blip along the way? Can your client still have an amazing, fantastic time, even if one little problem happened?
So try to ask the question once and stop. I know it's because you're a teacher, and with kids, you want to re-ask it twice, 3 times, 4 times. I know, I get it. I do the same with my kids.
I think it depends on what the problem is. I mean, if it's you didn't tell us we need, let's say, a visa, and now we're stuck in the airport, that's a big problem.
Is there any chance you would make that size of mistake of like not checking on passports or visas?
It's possible, because I don't know what I don't know, because I haven't done it yet. But
As
I
a,
guess
as a seasoned traveler, would you ever not know to check that kind of thing?
no. If I treated it like it was me planning it for myself, it would be extremely thorough.
Isn't that why you chose this? Because you know
Yes.
how to do it for yourself?
Yeah,
So, what are the chances that you would not follow the steps that you have followed hundreds of times on all of your successful trips?
pretty low.
So, what's the problem? Take your time. There's no rush.
I keep going back to what I know is quote unquote a real problem versus entitlement and nonsense. And I feel like I don't want to deal with, I want my money back because I didn't bring a pair of heels. You didn't tell me, crap like that. I don't want to deal with that.
Can you produce um, a handout, a pamphlet, a checklist,
Nope.
something concrete?
Nope. Nope. No. Why is this not the right question, Leah?
Because I'm offering solution based.
Right, because she might be thinking in her head right now, I'm not stupid. Of course, I would know how to have a checklist. You're not listening to me. That's not what I said the problem was. So, no solution-based questions at all. So, here, I just want to offer you a direction, Leah. Maybe this will help you, and Gail as well. Gail, have you been an entrepreneur before? Perfect.
No.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. And what was
As far
that?
as I know, I haven't.
Okay, what was that though? What just happened when you looked to the side and thought like, no, why'd she ask me that?
Because it's such a great word, and I'm not completely sure I know what it means. I
Okay.
think a business person, but it sounds so like,
Entrepreneur.
yes, like, like there's something high and mighty and cartoonish.
And so if you're going to be
An
in business,
entrepreneur.
an entrepreneur, and if you're going to be in business for yourself, where you're doing your own, planning and marketing and collection of money, etc., won't you be an entrepreneur? Isn't that what you're signing up for?
Yeah,
Okay. Are you comfortable with entrepreneurship?
yes. I
How do
think,
you,
I think it'll
how,
be, I'm sorry.
go ahead. You go.
I think it'll be easier than working for people like I worked with at the state, that just, you can't follow any logic,
Right.
and the people who are supposed to be helping constituents
Right.
aren't, and then they're upset because you are.
Is it a reach to say that that's why you took early retirement? Because you got fucking sick of that?
I took early retirement because it was like, nothing, nothing made any sense.
Right.
And people were paying the price for it with their lives.
Yeah. And
I
people,
want to be a part of that. But yet I still wanted to be there and put on my cape and take care of it because I can. And I did. But I can't stop stupid.
right. So what you're telling me is you got really sick of how things are so senseless and confusing and illogical. So you
And
went
harmful.
and harmful, right, and hurtful for people. So you
Yes.
decided to go out on your own.
Yeah,
So now you're out on your own, but it's freaking you out a little bit.
it is. I'm afraid.
Right. Okay. And so is that surprising to you that you're doing something new and that it's a little bit scary?
It's very surprising. I've
Okay.
never done it before. I've always worked for somebody else since I was 14 years old.
Right. So
How do you know this is the right time to work for yourself?
good. Nice question.
As I just turned 66 and I don't have millions of years ahead of me.
So
Because
now,
now I'm a senior and it's like, well, okay, I can't say I'll do it in 10 years.
so now is the time. And what are you going to do to solve your problem?
No,
No?
no, because if she knew what she was going to do to solve her problem, she wouldn't have signed up to talk to you.
So how do you know this is the right time?
Because I want to do it.
And
And
so,
what does that feel like wanting to do it?
It does feel exciting. It feels it feels like something like a challenge. It almost feels like to me, like a math equation.
oh, okay.
And I hate math.
Okay.
I don't want to do it. But that's kind of what it feels like.
Okay. And what does the math equation look like?
This sounds so stupid.
Perfect question, Leah. See, you got her right there. Just take your time.
This is what it's like. It's like those math equations where it's like if two people take a trip and traveling 17 crap. You know what I mean? That kind of crap. It feels like I have to unravel this equation when everything is kind of spelled out. Maybe if I tell somebody ahead of time, it might take me about a week or so to confirm that I've gotten your payment. Or it might take me about a week to put an itinerary together. I know how to book it all.
Mhm.
But to create an itinerary, not real sure how to do that, that might take me a week. Are you okay with that? And I feel like I could tell people up front. So then if they get weird immediately, I don't have to work with them.
Okay, so Leah, what just happened just in terms of the learning that you've done the past 2 days? What did she just do that's different from the rest of what she's done? She just offered you what?
She offered me a solution. She offered
Yep.
me a skill and a solution. I don't know the words for that. So we're going to look in on that.
The word is resource. So she offers you a resource. And so what happens when you get a resource? What do you do with it?
I am supposed to push on the resource, try to get
No, not push on, I would just offer it right back to her. So you're saying that you could ask them, are they okay with waiting a few minutes or days or hours or whatever?
Yeah. So you're saying
Yep.
so you're saying that you can be upfront and give them your time frame. Is this something you can do?
Yeah, I could definitely do that.
And how would that solve the problem or how would that work for you?
How would that work for you?
I would think I think it would work. I think it would work until it didn't for somebody, because you can't predict what someone's going to say or do.
By
So
offering your clients a time frame, how does that benefit you?
good question.
Um, I have a strange request.
Mhm.
Can you just be still because you're rocking and I have a seizure disorder?
Perfect. I'm going to
Okay.
try very hard. Thank you for letting me know, and thank you
Yeah,
for feeling
because I'm going
comfortable
like, okay, and I don't want to go there.
And,
Okay.
and just to interrupt you on that one, so Leah's way of being subconscious is that. So that tells me that she's in a trance.
Yeah,
So an easy way to solve that, Leah, if you're the therapist and you need that part of you to be present,
yeah.
is to use your voice and not your screen. Lots of therapists who do this just, you know,
I can turn off my screen?
yeah, you can just be on the phone or you can just do it orally or hourly. That's totally
Okay,
fine. So if that works,
perfect.
that's fine with me.
So, Gail, if this is okay with you, I'm going to turn off my screen because I will do that, and I want you to be 100% safe and comfortable. So, I'm going to turn off my screen. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, it'll be like, Wizard of Oz-ish, but
I'm
I'll make
here.
okay.
And
I'm
just
here.
everybody watching, this is an option for you. Like there's quite a few therapists who do these calls on the phone, not on Zoom. I'm very visual, so for me, I like to see the client, but it's not required.
So, thank you very much for telling me that. Thank you. Your time frame. How does offering them a time frame? Okay, so I'm so excited that you want to go to a trip to da 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 da. Give me 5 to 7 days to get back to you. How does that time frame and offering that benefit you?
It gives me peace of mind that I've been upfront, that I'm not
Mhm.
expected. If I'm expected to deliver something perfectly and instantly, wow, I just had another connection. Wow.
Mhm. Okay,
So you just say,
Uh,
that's right. Say, Leah, that's right. You just did.
that's right.
Yep. Let's hear it.
Let's
so
hear it.
am I addressing what just popped in or what was asked before?
Where are you going? What do you want to tell me?
Just tell her, yeah, what popped in is what I want to hear.
What popped in?
Because that's the spontaneously emerging subconscious phenomena that we want to.
Okay.
Usually emerging.
There, I got it finally. Thank you.
I love that.
Which is
So
an easier way to say that, Gail, is it's an aha moment. That's what the
It's
subconscious.
an aha moment. So
but I
tell me
love that.
about that aha moment.
I just love that title so much, Spontaneous.
Yes, aha.
Because I just heard myself say, I'm going to go back and look at this again. It would take the pressure off of me, I think,
Yeah.
that if somebody expected me to deliver something spontaneously and perfectly,
Yes,
and,
spontaneously and perfectly.
and then I had my aha moment
Hmm.
of that was the expectation placed on me since I was very, very little. You're not
Right.
allowed to You're not allowed to try something. You should have already done it.
So, Leah, what is that in terms of therapeutic phenomena that you just saw? And just let her have it. She's having it right now, so we don't want to interrupt her. So that's it, Gail. So, Leah, while Gail's having it, what is that she just did? Do you know the word for it?
I can't remember. I'm bad with words. No, not the word right now.
It's a regression. So she just had a regression to her childhood without me telling her, okay, so
Yeah.
when did that start? Was it your mom? Was it your dad? I didn't force her, but she just realized on her own, oh, that's something that happened to me when I was little, that I had
Yeah.
to have it figured out before I even started.
It looks like that's where the knot is coming from.
One of them.
What would happen if you made a mistake? Or what happened when you made a mistake when you were younger? We all make mistakes. It's impossible not to. So what happened when you would make one?
I didn't try because the message I got was, it's great that you want to do that. How come you haven't already done it?
You
And
want to try now?
who did that benefit at that time? Stopping you from having your childhood. Who did that benefit?
Not me.
Yeah, who did it benefit? So it was harmful to you, but it worked for someone. Who was that?
Well, my father used to say stuff like that, but I don't know how that would have benefited him to mess up his kid's head.
Right. Oh, did he know that he was messing it up?
Probably not.
Right.
And do you know now that that is not something, do you know now that it's okay to make a mistake?
So maybe a way to phrase that, Leah, that would be more inviting would be something like, given all the work you've done advocating for others, given
Yes.
everything you've learned as a public servant, given everything you've done in comedy and in advertising and in life, where do you stand on that idea that if you try, it has to be perfect the first time?
Mm-hmm.
Because
So
see,
given,
there was a lot of hypnotic monologue in what I just said, which is, wow, look at how far you've come in your life. You're not a child anymore. So let's look at it now from the perspective we're at now.
mm-hmm.
And then we just wait.
It doesn't make sense to do something perfect immediately. But the other thing that doesn't make sense is the idea that as soon as you think of something that you want to do, you should have already done it.
No. What would you say to someone you were mentoring who said the same thing to you? I'm afraid to make a mistake. What if it takes too long? What would you say to them?
I guess I would say think of everything that possibly could go wrong so that you can address it. Recognize that there's probably still some stuff that you don't know about because people create problems,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and just be prepared for how you're going to handle it when it surfaces. And I
How would,
guess I would say in terms of, this is really getting interesting, Maya.
Good.
In
Excellent.
terms of how you're going to handle it, I would think in terms of how I handled my cases.
Yeah.
okay. And how was
But
that?
before I did anything, I made sure that I would look at the repercussions in every direction. So it'd be like
Okay.
almost like playing chess. If this person does this, I do this. So I mean, ultimately incredibly prepared. Um, but also there's an element in there where it was completely detached, which is a lot of what I really enjoyed that Maya was talking about is how to, this is your client. This isn't about you, which I totally appreciate. And I was able to do really well with people is you can do anything you want to do. This is what I then do.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
it's not about control. And it's not, I'm sorry, what?
I'm just telling Leah, hold on, I want to hear the end of it from you.
So it's not about controlling, gosh, I forgot where it was. Um, it's just it's being prepared. And when I think on my cases, I always told people I got as much information as possible. I told them I'll get back to you as soon as I have information.
So you're saying you did the thing that you're saying you could do now, then.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Nobody expected, without investigating, I want you to tell me right now how my mother got you know, got three black eyes in 1 week or something like that. It's like, well, I have to look into it.
Okay.
I have to do it.
Of course, you have to look into it, and everybody else would have to look into it too.
Yeah,
And
so
and
hold on,
you're
Leah. So hold on, Leah. So you know how to do that? You know how to tell people I need to look into something?
I do. And I know how to tell them right off the bat, I might not be the, I might not be the best resource. I don't do that
So you're telling me you've practiced doing that quite a bit?
millions of times.
So you've done it millions of times,
Yeah,
and now
yeah,
in your new business, you need to do the same thing that you've done millions of times.
I do. That's fascinating. Yeah.
So how does it feel to think about, well, I already know how to do that?
A whole lot better.
Okay. And are entrepreneurs born knowing the ins and out of their business, or do they learn it during the development of the business?
Well, this is where it gets so interesting, Maya, is like, I
That's
think I told
it.
you,
Yeah.
there are people in my class who didn't know that they didn't know what they were talking about. I knew that they didn't know what they were talking about, and they're fine with it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I told you about the guy who said, you know, oh, I'm going to send people to Venus, and it was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he had a whole plan, and he was telling everybody about this, and it turned out to be Venice,
Right.
Okay.
So
but
let
he
me
was
ask you a really
fine with that.
so let me ask you something very important, Gail. What's different from you and the guy who
Yeah.
sent the guys to Venus? What's different about the two of you? Because that person's already in business and you're
He's
not.
in business. He's getting tons and tons of business,
So
and
I just want to know
he's
what's
sending people to go look at the geysers.
right. And so what's the difference between you and him? Aside from the fact that you're aware that Venus is not somewhere we're sending people on vacation.
I guess
I mean,
he does. I
it's
guess he doesn't know that he's the only thing I can think of, and it sounds so terrible. He doesn't know that he's stupid.
right. He doesn't know that there are things that he might miss, and it's not stopping him.
Or he does, and he just doesn't care.
Right. So what do you have to learn from that?
Mm-hmm.
They're out there. I I
How
don't know
does
why.
how does it benefit you that there are some people out there doing the job you want to do who don't know what they're doing?
How does it benefit me?
Yeah.
That doesn't benefit me. That makes me crazy.
Okay. And why does that make you crazy?
Because it makes me feel like the world is just friggin' stupid.
Right. So Leah, this is going in the wrong direction because
Okay.
now we're back to why she hates, the unreasonableness of the world, which is totally reasonable, right? But it was helpful when it was like, well, that jackass can send people to Venus. Surely I can send people to Borneo where I've been,
Mm-hmm.
so we want to capitalize on this. So if that guy can do it, what do you want to learn from that guy that you're missing? What's missing? What's the
What's
missing?
missing?
Yeah.
Self-confidence.
Okay, so now we're at a knot. This is interesting here. So now we
Okay.
so slow down, Leah. Slow down because she's telling you what her real problem is.
Why are idiots always so self-confident?
Right. If only I could have the confidence of a mediocre white male. That's
Yes,
great.
that's exactly
Right.
what I was thinking.
Right. Okay, so slow down, Leah, because we're now at the heart of the problem. So now we want to wait for her. Because there it is. Okay, good. That's it. There it is.
I guess the problem really is, how do I deal with idiots? Or why do I attract idiots? I don't know. Um, can I be, I can be, and this is the other thing. I mean, I've spent so much time working with people with developmental disabilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Limited capacity, cognitively, blah, blah, blah. And I don't consider them idiots. And I'm a really good advocate.
Mm-hmm.
For most of the individuals I worked with, it was pretty easy to address what their needs were. The idiots, I feel like, are the people that just aren't them, are people that oftentimes are very successful. And that's what I consider to be like an,
And,
I
and
don't
I'm just, I
know
just,
about anyone.
I was a little confused by something you said a moment ago, which is why do I attract all the idiots? Like that guy was just in your class. So what makes you criticize your attraction? Where did you get that from? That you
That
attract?
came from my dad, who told
Okay,
me all of your friends are rejects. He told me
okay,
that when I was 12. Why
right,
are all your friends rejects? I remember that. And
right,
I said, what do you mean? Well, they're not the popular kids, they're not the cheerleaders. I said, I'm not a cheerleader.
right,
And then years later, my dad was already gone, but I wanted to tell him, hey, those rejects that you talked about, here's
right.
what they're doing.
Guess what they turned out
Mm-hmm.
to be, right?
That,
Yeah.
Leah,
yeah.
what Leah, what is going on here? just because I asked you before and you weren't sure. So now do you know?
Again, she's regressing back again to her father. Her father was the one who she's regressing back to her father. So what would you tell your dad now about what you're doing and how you're how you're becoming an entrepreneur? What would you tell him?
About my business, I would tell him that he put, I wouldn't say he had a real natural curiosity that was really infectious and really cool. And he enjoyed traveling. And I think I would tell him that this the spirit that he had and the love for discovery um, had rubbed off on me, and
Mm.
now I'm sharing it.
How does it feel for you when you're able to just to share your love for traveling with others, or a specific spot, your favorite spot? How does that feel?
It feels good when they're into it. Like I have a few friends that are see travel the same way that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Really more wanderers, and they don't need entertainment so much as they want to discover other cultures. And when we get together, it's really exciting. It's really exciting.
Do you think your dad would be excited about this business plan that you have?
Absolutely. If my dad were alive, I think about this sometimes, and I could tell him, hey, here's some places that I went to. I think he would be awestruck.
Mm.
So yeah, go ahead. So are
He
you
would.
saying that developing this business would be somewhere in honor of his legacy?
I didn't think of it that way, and I kind of don't want to think about it that way.
So how do you want to think about it?
I want to keep him and all those little things that creep up, like that from just happen. I want to keep them back there. I don't
Okay.
want to keep that in the forefront.
And how do you want to do that? What's it going to take?
I think to recognize when they creep up and not let them in the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And what's stopping you from stopping them creeping in?
Nothing. I think I just stopped two of them.
Yeah,
That just came up.
Mm.
I know.
I recognize them right away. I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's old crap. Yep.
How does that feel being able to see it, stop it, throw it away? How does that make you feel?
Oh, of course, it makes me feel really good. And, I have some compassion for my father, and I wonder what the hell happened to you that, this is what you gifted me with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I can move forward. What is amazing to me is the degree to which I ingested it and can do it to myself now.
Ingested, ingested what he was saying,
Yeah.
and
And
now how you can.
and isn't that normal, Gail? Isn't that how life is? We all ingest what our upbringings offered, and then as we age, we can decide what to keep and what to reject.
Mm.
Isn't that normal?
I think so, but the degree to which these things pop into my head
Right.
is like, so did that come from him? Well, he's been dead forever.
Yeah.
Or is that something he planted in me and now
Yeah.
I'm doing it to myself? When those little, but what I think is interesting is I didn't even know that they were in there until we
Right.
started talking. And it's like, so the subconscious crap is driving the bus.
Right. Exactly. So
And if
now that you know that, what quality do you want to develop in yourself?
mm,
Now that you know what's driving the bus, what do you want to do with it?
I want to do with it.
Like, how are you going to get there to expand and encourage yourself beyond that?
I guess what I'm thinking is try to recognize when it's coming up, where it's coming from.
Yeah, right. And what would that do for your business?
Oh, it would be great, but if it's happening at a at a subconscious level, how do I recognize it? Because I've been mulling this over now for almost a year and I haven't realized, I'm a passenger on the bus
Yeah, that's
and
right.
this thing's driving it.
That's right. And did you realize it until we had this conversation?
No. So that's what scares me is I feel like, okay, so before I make any move,
Mhm.
I need to have this.
Uh-huh. What's scary about saying I need some help before I can move forward?
Nothing. I've been asking for help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you got some and it
And
worked.
it's interesting because everybody I asked, and there's plenty of people, they're like, I do it this way, I do it this way, I do it this. Well, that's how I do it. Well, I don't do that. And that makes me more nuts
Isn't
because
Mhm.
isn't this funny, everybody? This is an advertisement for ACH right here. I asked a bunch of
Mhm.
people and they all gave me advice which didn't help. Right, exactly.
And how they would do it.
That's exactly what we're talking
And all
about.
we had to do was ask you, how do you want to do it?
but it feels to me, again, and I know where this comes from, I don't know, but it's like, look, if you're going to drive a car, doesn't make sense to me that, well, what you would do first is
Right,
park
exactly.
it. It's like if you're going to drive a car, you have to drive it first before you can park it. So to hearing all these people saying, "Oh, I do this," I was like, "How do you get? I don't get it.
Yeah,
I
right.
want to know, like, what are the steps?"
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask that question right back to you, Gail. How are you going to do it? And what are the steps you're going to take? What's the first step you're going to take?
I think the first one is going to be sitting with this um, mental blast about what just happened and really acknowledging the extent to which this bus has been driven and go,
Mhm.
all right, okay, wow, this is the effect it still has on me. Let's put that aside and then approach this from um, um, a, a different place of um, the odds of me making a mistake, they're there.
Mhm.
A great one, probably not. Would somebody else think it's life shattering? Maybe. Is that my problem? No.
Mhm.
I like the idea of not a checklist, but something in writing that says you agree to work with me and
Mhm.
not drive me nuts. But I don't know.
And I'm sure with all the experience
So
that you
just wait,
have
Gail.
with
Just wait, Leah. Just wait, Leah. She's not done. She's telling us her solution and her resource. So just let her. Don't interrupt her.
Yeah, in some way, shape, or form, say this is what I'm responsible for. This is what you're responsible for,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
which hopefully will weed out who's crazy at the start.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And as things come up, some of the horror stories, like I've talked to people about, now that I'm thinking about it, they're going an extra mile that I wouldn't even go. Like someone who's like, well, I know that we wanted to be here, but now that we're here, we want to be there. And I've talked to travel agents who are like, all right, let me work with that.
Mhm.
And I would say, life's hard. I wouldn't work with that. I'd be like, this is what you bought. And oh, when you come back, we can plan another trip.
When you come back, we can
Just
plan
wait.
another.
Just wait, Leah. Just wait. Just wait. We don't need to, don't ask her a question after she's done talking until she's really digested it. So
I
she's
guess I'm anticipating piles of irrational because it's what I've been used to, either from my father or from dealing with abusers.
right. Okay. Now
Just
we're
piles and piles and piles of that's not the point, that's irrational. And it doesn't, if somebody got hurt, well, that's not my problem when it is your problem. She caused it. And I think I really need to remove myself from that pattern of looking at people in terms of as an investigator. How Are they looking? What are they saying? How come those two things don't add up? Because I'm so used to investigating everything and seeing everything and always circling the wagon so that I could say, and I still do this in conversation, I could say, yes, but on Tuesday, this is exactly what you said word for word. And I don't know that definitely doesn't make my husband happy when I do that, but I don't think that those skills are necessary any longer. So I want to get rid of them.
Okay. And how will it benefit you to get rid of them?
Leah, so just watch the subconscious moment here. So she's in it right now. Don't ask her a question when she's in it. You don't want to interrupt the trance. That's the trance. You did your job already. Don't work too hard. She just came to a very deep point of her life right here. This is like very delicate and beautiful. I don't want to do this dance with abusers anymore. And she's like, oh, that's really important to me, as a human, beyond my business. So we just say, that's right. I agree.
Mhm.
That makes sense to me. And don't ask her anything. Let her have that.
The other thing that pops in right now is
There you go.
what I'm used to is, or have been used to for decades, when faced with irrational, when faced with abuse, when faced with people's insane logic about why they hurt somebody or neglected somebody, is knowing I can't make anybody stop, but I can do the following. I can call the police, call the Department of Health, call the feds,
Yep.
and fine you. And I think I just realized that in this new job, I don't have that tool belt. I don't have, well, if you want to call me from France to tell me that you really wanted to be in Italy, I'm going to refer you to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have that tool belt. It's going to have to be me. And I'm going to have to process this. It's almost like being on a little island with this strange logic. And I think what I'm going to have to do is just say, this is what I can do, and this is what I cannot.
Mm-hmm.
Or this is what I'm willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I realize if I were to create some kind of a checklist, it would be 4,000 pages long. Don't be a dick. Don't be this. Don't do this. Don't bother me. Quit irritating me. It would be everything that I know that people are capable of. And I don't want that overflow in my head because I just feel like I'm in a pattern of being used to seeing people as abusive or self-serving or not thinking things through. And so I'm transferring a lot of that into this when it's like, really all they want to do is go on a boat and see a monkey. So I want to blast all that past and put it away.
So what I'm hearing you say is, I used to have other recourses, but now I'm in business alone and I have to set my own boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so how are you going to do that?
I think that the best way to do it, again, is everything I learned from being an investigator. First and foremost, go neutral, tell the truth, explain every quote unquote potential obstacle up front. And for me, the obstacle would be, this is my time frame. This is when I can get back to you.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. And then have them sign something.
Right.
And first and foremost, do a really good job, kind of like you were saying, Maya, before you take on a client. How many personalities are in here that I'm going to have to deal with later?
Yeah, and how are you going to figure that out?
Right. So I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm as good as can be at working with people under strange circumstances and weeding that out. But there's always more than a handful that have snuck in and presented sometimes very scary, psychotic stuff. And again, I had that tool over there. But this time I think, okay, my tool belt will be, I'm done now.
So how does it feel to you to say, I'm going to delineate the terms of my service. And if you would like to work with me within the terms of my service, cool. And if not, don't work with me.
I think, Maya, what I just hit on was up front, people can present as wonderful.
Mhm.
They're great. And then you get into it, and out comes some really weird stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm used to really bad stuff, life and death, horrible stuff. And I'm even used to people turning against me, threatening me, everything that's happened, you know, because I saw what was done. That doesn't make me the problem. I even worked with you to say, I'm not the cops.
Yeah.
You stop this now and you do this, we're okay, but I'll keep my eye on you. And people would listen. But there were also people that would turn, they'd threaten me. They'd greet me, with a shotgun, all kinds of horse shit. And it was never because I did anything other than I held up a mirror. And I could handle that okay. But in here, I feel like, okay, so people are going to present themselves as wonderful, and I want to go on a trip, and life is great. Good, there's no stress. And then once they're comfortable, that's when they hit you with their crap.
So I just have to ask because it's like so beautiful. So what you're telling us is you can handle abuse, you can handle a shotgun being pointed at you, you can handle calling CYFD or protective services, all of these high pressure things.
Yeah.
But when it comes to someone complaining about that they're in Italy and not France, that's hard.
Yes. Yes, because, there's tangibles here. It's like there's only three ways to prove something. I observed it, it was written,
Yeah.
or I interviewed somebody, and we have enough of a record here that shows the people are all saying the same thing.
So if it says in your terms of service, I do not reschedule flights during once the trip has begun, and it says
That's
that,
why I'm saying if I were to do that, it would be 4,000 pages long.
okay, and what
I will
makes
not reschedule if you forget your shoes. I don't want to deal with it if your cousin is having his tooth out. It's how they sneak in, and it's something that's like, I guess what I'm saying is I'm used to when there's a big problem, people don't recognize it necessarily, but I do, and I can make sure that person's okay. When there isn't a problem, but you choose to make one, I have a real hard time with that because I just want to go quit doing that.
so there's people all over the place in business for themselves, dentists, lawyers, hypnotists like me. How are they all protecting themselves from writing 4,000 page contracts?
It's a really great question.
Thank you.
Um,
I think it'll help you
I,
because
I
if
think
they
to a
can,
degree, yeah, there's like the terms of service or something where it's like, you agree to let me pull your tooth, blah, blah, blah. This is the insurance we're going to use, and this is when we're going to.
yeah. And why is their thing not 4,000 pages long when they're doing high risk things? I mean, like I have a lawyer who's protecting my children's custody. I mean, that's pretty high stakes. And I think that the whole thing was a half a page that I signed.
I think I just hit on something that's been missing, which is insurance.
Okay, nice.
Mm.
I haven't had, I haven't really looked into insurance, but maybe I could, that would feel like a tool in my tool belt where it's like, yeah, okay, so you think that you want all your money back because you can't find an ice bucket. Um, and my advice to you to pick up the phone and ask someone to bring it to you doesn't work. Yeah, by all means, call a lawyer. I guess that would give me some peace of mind to know that I have insurance against irrational shit. And I'm also so meticulous. That's just a learned skill from years of doing this, where anticipating what the worst is that could happen and being prepared for it. I can't believe I'm saying this. Um, so that it's all right there up front.
Right.
So then, go back to, well, but this is it. This is what we agreed to. So
So why is it that when you get your tooth pulled, that people don't call the dentist and say, but you sent me home with a red toothbrush and not a green one, and I don't like it?
I think they do.
Okay. And why
I think
is it the dentist can stay in business if they do and not be too bothered by that?
because, okay, I think there are people that have other people who handle that stuff.
Mhm.
Like friends of mine who are at the front desk or the receptionist or the assistant who handle that crap. But I hear what you're saying. So if it's just a one person team, um, I think what they could do is just say, this is what I can offer you.
Yeah.
And after that, I'm done. And I also, one of the things that I used to tell the people throughout the state that I would train is they always want to know, but why is this person doing this? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? And why don't they understand? And I'd say, it doesn't matter. It matters that they do this now.
Yeah.
And you can let them, and now what we're talking about is being right or being effective. You can let them be quote unquote right. Yes, you're absolutely right. Grandma deserved to be starved. Okay, cool. Moving forward, though, it's not going to happen anymore. So it would be like, all right, let's just be effective. Let's make sure it doesn't happen anymore. And then you can think whatever you want in your own friggin' head.
Uh-huh.
And I guess I I could do that in that job. In this job, I feel like maybe I don't need to unravel you're crazy about why does this matter? Why are you doing it? Maybe I could just say, for whatever reason you're doing it, this is my path. And
Yeah.
this is your
And do you even have to respond when people say things that are like, oh, there's no ice bucket in here? Can you just ignore that?
well, that's part of selling myself as a trip advisor is that if something happens anywhere along the way, you have somebody to contact.
Mhm.
Before I became a trip advisor, I had used travel advisors. So like I'd be somewhere and something got canceled or I'd have to take a new plane. And it was like, what do I do? And they were there for it. So I have to say, part of this service is I will be available.
Right.
But I think
And just to ask you, do you have to be available for ice buckets, or do you just have to be available if
that's the
something
thing.
gets canceled?
How do you tell people I'll be available for something that really matters?
How do you? I want you to
Mhm.
tell me. You tell
Well,
me
the
because
ice bucket really matters to me.
it's your business. So you tell me, how will you tell people, hey, this is within my scope of practice and this is not within my scope of practice? Whose business is it?
Good point.
I mean, isn't that why you're in business for yourself?
It just dawned on me that I don't have to answer the phone.
All right.
Mm.
I mean, I just am so interested in this whole thing about I quit this other job because I got sick of all that. And now I'm in business for myself, setting my own rules. So why aren't you setting your own rules?
Because it's like all the detritus is hanging on. And I feel like I'm just kind of
Yeah,
getting rid of it. It's like, no, as a travel advisor, you don't have to be primed to investigate abuse.
right,
Mm.
right.
And I'm like, okay, isn't that weird? That's a revolution. Right now, it's a revelation.
Yeah, right. It is.
Dealing with people means crap. It's like, oh, that was
So, so who is this new Gail? Who is this new travel advisor? I don't give a fuck about all these nonsense bullshit things, and I don't even give you my energy. Who is that person?
me,
Yeah. And
more sane,
yeah, more in
less
control of
critical.
her time. Yeah.
But also it feels really good to drop that baggage of
Right.
the person on the other end of the phone has a secret that's going to be revealed and someone's going to die.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Lower stakes.
Mhm.
Much slower. Yeah.
Much, much funner stakes too. More like, hey, this person is having the greatest time with the monkey on their head.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's like the bracing, the anticipation, dealing with people who didn't tell the truth, sometimes knew they didn't tell the truth, and not being able to tell anybody because of friggin' HIPAA, but yet,
Exactly.
when a friend is like, oh, I have this new physician, and I have to go, would you like other recommendation? I have to be really careful because it's like, I know what that guy has done.
Mhm.
I can prove it. But
So,
they're out there. So I just feel like they're coming for me.
so Leah,
Yeah.
where are we in terms of knots right now? Because I felt a shift right there. Did you feel it?
I'm feeling a shift in, yeah, the not having to take other people's stuff and being able to set a boundary and, being able to separate. So if you have a problem with your ice bucket, okay, that's your problem. I'm not taking on that problem.
Right. And I feel there have been at least 6 or 8 knots underneath all of that. My
Yeah.
dad, my childhood,
Yeah.
all these things, which are now broken.
Making.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like I've been anticipating absolutely the worst behavior, almost like it's like I'm in business to sell travel to people who are abusers.
Mhm.
Perfect. Now we're
Yeah,
talking.
and it's like, wait a
Now
minute.
we're talking. So is that your business? Is your business, hey, come to me if you're abusive, or is your business, hey, come to me if you want to go to Borneo and hang with the monkeys?
Right.
To me, if you're a wanderer.
Right. Nice. That would be a good brand.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm
I love
braced
the
for
guy
this
who,
battle that
right.
doesn't have to happen.
Beautiful, beautiful. So now, Leah, where are we
Oh,
just in terms of that's it, right? Okay, good job. Nice. Just let her have it. That's awesome. Good. Amazing.
Mhm.
It's big.
and
You're
I think in
making.
terms of me feeling like, how do I battle crazy? Hi, Dad.
Mhm.
Because I always had this vision growing up that there's this ladder and I'm supposed to get to the top, but I can't climb the steps to get there because I should already have been there.
Is that
And
possible?
that's what I was presented with as a kid. So I think me unwinding crazy has a lot to do with that image. And at the same time, I would notice, well, other kids can climb the ladder. Yeah,
Hey,
but
Gail, how would it be for this period of your life and this new enterprise to be the end of your perfectionism? How would that be?
Mm.
wow. Right off the bat, it feels a little scary because again, because somebody else is going to pay the price for me not doing it completely right. And I don't want that to happen. Um, but it would feel great. And I think if I put it in the proper context, which is we're talking about a week's vacation.
Mm.
We're not talking about the rest of your life, and then we're not talking about scarring you.
Right.
Um,
And just on a personal level, I just want to know, is this the time of your life for that? To be in business for yourself, with your
yeah.
boundaries,
Oh yeah.
without, right.
That's why I mean, you
So if
know,
you make a mistake along the way of asserting your new identity, is that just okay with you? How is it possible to do it in another way? You're starting something
it,
new. It's a new
yes,
idea.
it's okay as long as I catch it
Right.
and I can fix it. Um,
And
and
are you intelligent and diligent and prepared enough to catch it and learn from it?
yeah,
Right.
Mhm.
And how else are you going to learn how to be really good at this
you
beyond?
know, I'm thinking, Maya, that I must know that's true because for a year I've had my website,
Right.
but I haven't taken it live.
Yeah, I get that.
I have to like figure all this out. And now
Mhm.
it came up where it's like, would you like to renew? And I went, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm like, well, wait a minute.
Because deep down you know that this is
I
what
think
you're going to
so.
do. And it's going
Yeah,
to be
I think
fun.
so.
And you're going to send people to monkey viewing and all of this stuff. And it's going to be wild. Is it going to take you to parts of the world and adventures and experiences and to meet people who are like you?
Mm.
Well, yeah, it already has because I've been going on a lot of
I know.
travel for travel advisors and learning a lot. And that's why I've discovered like people do everything completely different.
Let me just ask you something. This is very important. Take your time, really think about it. Isn't that why you came to planet Earth?
Why? Why did I come to Planet?
To see it, to have fun, to enjoy it, to go on trips with your husband, to use your career to do the thing you love.
I would hope that we all came here to do the things that we love and to discover what those things are.
And so what's the problem?
I think too much.
Sorry,
I-
Leah, I wanted to ask you to ask her again, what's the problem? Because I think we're at the point of knowing that she's gonna be awesome at this. But Leah,
Yeah.
what do you think? Do you know where we are with the problem right now? Sorry, I didn't want to steal it from you there.
We know where we are with the problem.
Yeah, like where are
Uh,
we with the problem? Do you know where she is with it?
I feel like I she needs to go and start start doing.
And what do you think she thinks of her problem right now?
I think that she thinks it's a problem that is something that she can tackle and is going to tackle and has really good ideas on how to move forward. And she feels that, I used to do this at this stake. Oh my God, I can do this at this stake and I can anticipate this. And, I've learned so much. I've talked so much. I've talked to all these different people and hurt because they go, yeah, 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 all about their stuff. Now you know what you can do.
So
My
ask her
problem,
that.
my problem doesn't feel like a problem anymore.
That's what I wanted to know.
It doesn't. It feels like I was given some direction. It's like, well, you're not moving forward because the car is in reverse. Okay,
Right. Put it in
thank you.
park.
That's
Put
what.
it.
Yeah, that's what you do, and that's why it's so helpful.
Okay. And Leah, what are we going to do next as HCH professionals now that she said, I don't even see the problem anymore?
Right. So, tasking and demarcation. So,
Wait. There's something more important than that first. Think about the car wash. That's why I show that stupid video of the car wash. It's not stupid though. And by the way, Gail, I was thinking during this session, think about that guy in the video. He does all the parts of the car wash and he then checks to see that he did it all right. Very much like what you're describing. I'm going to set up the whole trip. Then
I think it would be good for me to think of the car wash guy
right,
instead
exactly.
of the Venus guy.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I agree.
And I think maybe there's a part of me that perseverates on that nonsense because the other part of me that is used to comedy keeps wanting to go there because we have a great character here. We have a great scene here and a lot of material here. I think I just to
And
separate.
maybe you would end up with a great stand-up show or skit if there was a guy who was really obsessed with his ice bucket. That would be really funny, actually.
There is a part of me that wants, while I'm saying I'm repelled by it and repulsed by it, there's a part of me that wants to explore this more because it's like, how do you live?
Right.
What is your life like?
So when you are really in the mood of planning a business and being a business person, an entrepreneur, do you want more of that material for comedy, or do you want really good quality customers who love your service?
I want good quality customers, but I will tell you, I think the comedy will be there. I just hope they don't recognize it. I hope it's something that I can recognize.
And the reason I ask you that is because the customer you expect is the customer you're going to get. So it's important to expect a customer who works with you and not, not an ice bucket customer necessarily. And so
That's a really good point. If somebody's gone all the way to Borneo,
right, to complain
and
about,
they know what they're getting into, and they know it's, yes, there's bugs.
right.
I don't know that would be an ice bucket high heels kind of a problem.
Perfect. That's what
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. Okay, and so Leanne, I brought up the whole why, the whole car wash guy, why?
because we need to test.
Yes, go for it.
I flip to my test page.
She really has given us a bazillion pieces of material we can test. So go for it. So somebody goes on a trip.
I got it. So your first client's going on a trip. You're so excited. They call. There's a problem. And they are upset about, well, we planned a trip. You told us this trip would be great, and it wasn't as great as I thought.
Raining. It's raining.
It's raining. It's raining, and we forgot our sunscreen. And my husband didn't pack his sunscreen shirt. What are you going to say to them?
And you didn't tell me it was going to be this hot, and now I don't have my sunscreen.
You didn't tell me it was going to be so hot. So what are you going to say?
Beautiful.
When I was figuring out what the weather would be for your trip and planning it with God, you're right. I should have told you, God and I have decided it will be this temperature. I'm sorry. And I can't say that. I can't, but I can have, the checklist or the document that says things I recommend: check the weather, bring layers. I could do that. And I could say, yeah, rain is something that's been happening.
And what would stop you, Gail, from just being very businesslike about it and saying, um, on our disclosure, which we started this with, the weather is a point of information.
Stop it, guys. I would have to be that professional. I would have to say that.
Right.
Whereas part of me would want to say, oh my God, it's the first time it's rained anywhere.
And how would you benefit from the sarcasm?
I would only benefit if I used it without, obviously, well, with names changed to protect me.
Right. So you would
Use it
benefit from it
as material.
right, as a comedy routine, it would be
Yeah.
funny. But in terms of the travel business, it's really a waste of time.
So
Maya, I keep going back to this image of we were in, God, I don't remember where the hell we were, somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And there's I know where it was now. We had just hiked through the Amazon. It wasn't a tour, it was just us and our barefoot guide. And we come out at the other end and we're exhausted and and there's this couple there. And it's kind of like, I don't know how they got there because they're like Holiday Inn kind of people, if you know what I mean. It was just like, wow, like she had her little skirt on and I'm like, where did you the difference between us and them was remarkable. And we're in the middle of a fucking, excuse me, jungle, and there's no restaurants. There's just a guy who makes fish. And this woman says, this fish, does it taste fishy? And this guy, we're in the friggin' Amazon, goes, yeah, it's fish. And I remember pointing to Jeff and going, that's it in a nutshell. This is everything in a nutshell about why people make me nuts. But I love the way he handles, like, yes, it's fish. So if I make that my mantra, yes,
yeah,
there will be fish. And then I could just handle like, yes, it rains. Yes, there's fish. Instead of that guy in the middle of the jungle who could have said, what the hell is wrong with you?
And can you imagine yourself, Gail, as the kind of travel advisor who, as the client is getting ready to go on the trip, who has a 20-minute call with them and says, okay, so I assume that you have your passport, your tickets, your printed itinerary, you've packed X and Y, you have this and that ready, you have emergency phone numbers. Is that true? Do you have all of that?
That is a really great idea.
Right. Can
I
you
love that.
imagine can you imagine yourself as that? And so that then when they call you down the road and you say, oh yes, I remember us talking about that when you were departing.
That's such a great idea, Maya. And the vision that came to me is like that's my bug repellent.
Yes,
So
exactly.
it's like, okay, put it on first. And I've been thinking, what do I do once the bugs bite me? All right,
Right.
cool. So I'll put it on first. And then it's like, all right, here's everything that I can think of. Will there be more? Of course.
And isn't that also a wonderful service to give people? Like, okay, now you're talking to a professional who's going to just walk
Yep.
through with you all the things that I already know, which is, travel and tickets and weather and do I have my tummy medicine or whatever it is, all
And
this.
and for my own travel for years and years, it's right on down to what type of electricity is there going to be? Do you have
Exactly.
the right? Oh, I have all of it in my head. So yeah,
Isn't
okay.
that why they hired you? Because you're the expert at all that?
mm,
Isn't that also why the dentist doesn't care if you call and complain about the toothbrush color? Because they have done that when you leave the office. Okay, so you're going to feel discomfort for the next 24 hours. If you have any redness or swelling, call us in 72, put some ice packs on, have a good day. Goodbye. Have a nice life.
Right, right.
Okay, so Leah, give her a hypothetical test. Make make it even crazier, and then we'll be towards the end. So that was a circumstantial test. Hypothetical is when you just like really test them, like see if you can break them. See if you can break them.
okay. So what happens when a client calls you and oh no. Oh. Is it okay if I say something like what happens if a client calls you and like something actually is wrong and it is her fault and she hears her dad say, I told you not to try.
So I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
But I mean, the beginning part was making sense. So
Okay.
what if somebody calls and they broke their leg and they're really scared and they don't know what to do? What if somebody falls down on a hike and instead of calling the ambulance, they call you? What do you do?
I would always know what's available.
Right,
I wouldn't book somebody to go backpacking on their own.
right,
Mhm.
exactly. And so what would you
So there'd always be an entity. So I would say, let me call.
Mhm.
how would you actually handle it? So let's just do a little role play. So ring, ring, ring. Gail, we're having the worst experience right now. We were on this boat adventure that you booked, and I slipped while I was getting off the dock. And now I can't find my shoe, and my ankle is swollen, and I'm scared shitless. What should I do?
The first thing well, here's what you should do. First, tell me, are you okay? Or do you feel like you need a doctor? Did you hit your head?
So, first, you'd say, I'm so glad you called. I'm really sorry that happened. Let me help you.
Yeah.
Right.
And then after that, I would say, so just to be clear, are you calling because you think you need medical treatment? Are you calling because you want another shoe?
Right.
What's
What are you calling for? What can
help
I
you
do
with?
for you right
Okay.
now?
I
Right.
need medical treatment and I don't know what to do. I
Okay.
don't speak the same language and I need medical treatment.
Are you on the boat right now?
Good.
I got off the boat. I'm on the dock.
On the dock. Do you see where the boat is?
It's right in front of me.
Okay. Are there people around you?
The passengers have left, but the driver's on the boat. But I don't understand what he's saying. He can't understand me.
Okay. Can you walk? Do you feel that you can walk?
Not far, but I can
Can you
stand.
walk? Can you walk to the end of the dock and get on the boat?
Yes.
Okay. Do that. Keep
Okay.
me on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to talk to people on the boat because the boat should have medical supplies.
Okay. Okay. I'm on the boat.
Okay. Are you bleeding?
No, but it's very swollen.
Okay. Um, Now at this point, I would hope I know what kind of boat I've put these people on, but it might be like an excursion or something, in which case they would have, in any case, they would have access to something larger. If it's a big boat, it will be there. The help that this person needs would be there. If
Okay.
it's an excursion, it's a smaller boat, okay, you might have, I don't know, if you have to wait a moment or not, but talk to there's got to be somebody there, there's got to be a captain, blah, 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 blah. The other thing, for me, it feels like this is an immediate need. So what I
Mhm.
would say is get a seat, put your leg up.
Okay. It's up.
And now what I'm going to ask you to do uh, is there anybody around you?
Just the captain.
How about
Sure. Go ahead.
I just want to know at what point is your responsibility over and you have to pass this responsibility for medical help to someone else?
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to figure out how do I get this person medical help? She's sitting there, she sees the captain.
Right.
Mhm.
My question is, why aren't you screaming? Why aren't you waving your hands?
Right.
Why
And
aren't
so
you?
and so would it be okay within the confines of the contract, which is I'm a travel advisor, not a doctor, to say I cannot be of assistance right now because I'm in the United States and you're in Borneo. But what needs to happen next is,
You need to tell the captain.
or anybody who can communicate with the captain.
Okay. And so after you've gotten me, the client, on the boat to a captain, now what are you going to tell them? How are you going to finish this off, finish the call because I'm no longer your responsibility? What are you going to say?
Tell the
Good.
captain or show the captain that you need medical care.
Mhm.
Mhm. And now what are you going to tell me to get me off the phone and you've done your job, you feel good.
Excellent, Leah. That's the hypothetical we're looking for is how do we keep Gail Gail?
Okay. Yeah, because yeah, okay. Um, Yeah, and they will assist you.
And call me back when you get to the hospital and let me know what happened. Or perhaps you don't give a shit.
Please let me know the outcome.
Right.
And if you need more help, let me know.
Perfect.
How does that feel to you, Gail?
That feels really good. That feels like what I'm used to anyway.
Mm.
Okay, Leah. So where are we then?
What I want to say is I'm seeing your face, I'm seeing your demeanor. You look like you're empowered.
Yeah, and honestly, in ACH, that's armchair therapy to me. I don't do that in ACH.
Okay. But I
Just
can't ask her to tell me how her body's feeling.
exactly. Or you might just say, what's happening? How are you feeling? Did that feel good to you? I
Okay.
mean, maybe I was a little hard on you there. I mean, it's not that I never say to people, oh, you look great, or you look different, or you
I
gave
want to ask her, how is she feeling? How is she feeling about that call? How are you feeling about handling that emergency?
exactly. And just notice that right now she's taking a little snack, so she's not
Mhm.
caught up in her problem anymore. So we
Mhm.
can see that
She's
she's like,
moving around, she's flicking her hair around, she's
right,
smiling.
she's laughing. Look at her. That's it. Now she's moving out of the problem. She's moving towards the end of the session. She knows that she solved it. So then what do you want to do?
I want her to tell me her first.
What's the smallest thing?
What's the smallest thing you can do to get your business moving forward?
The smallest thing?
Mhm.
And then sometimes I laugh and say, any size is fine.
Not care to the degree that I am.
Okay. And then what? Now you're not caring, and then what?
You might just leave it there. That might be her smallest thing, is just to detach from.
Um, uh, ouch, being prepared.
And then now, Leah, you're looking at the clock. I'm thinking, okay, I wanted this to end at 2. That's my professional opinion that we're pretty much done. So I would want to wrap up at this point.
Hmm.
So what would you say to her now? We
Um,
asked her what's the smallest thing. We have 2 more things to do.
yes, we have to do the demarcation.
Perfect. And what would you want to do for that one?
Can I make a joke and ask her where she could send me on a trip?
Perfect. That is exactly what demarcation is.
I'm gonna say,
Exactly is
look,
okay. So I'm
I don't like bugs. I don't like the sun. But where are you gonna send me on a trip?
A cave.
Ooh, what kind of cave? You know of any good cenotes you can send me to?
Oh my God, tons of them, but cenotes are outside. So we'd have to find some that are covered so that the sun doesn't get you too much.
Perfect.
And I know some in Cuba and I know some in Mexico right off the bat.
Amazing. Amazing. And your sandwich? What are you eating? Is it a sandwich?
No, I'm eating crumbs,
Yes. Perfect.
crumbs from my everything bagel.
I
So
knew it. You didn't have to tell me. I saw that everything bagel.
Then you say you're a girl after my own heart eating the crumbs. I love it. Okay. And now you can see the broken state, right? You can see
Yes.
that we broke the trance state. We got her out of the whole thing
So
that
I'm gonna say that wow, Gil, um, that I be say that I'm like happy with how much what she's done today, or no?
mm,
Nothing.
keep in your professional posture. What are you supposed to do as a professional?
Well, I after you finish your crumbs, maybe I know you have your beautiful dog, take your dog for a walk, have a tea, relax.
You might feel a little funny. You might realize a lot of things. You might have some memories. You might have some ups and downs. All of that is totally to be expected. And you're going to feel good after this. You're going to have a great experience planning your business and writing this document up. And now, what I really want you to do is give yourself a reward and relax.
Yeah, give yourself a reward and relax,
And
rest.
and we're going to be realistic too, and we don't just pretend that everything's perfect. So we're going to say, okay, and you're going to be in the class, and if you want to turn your screen off or take a break, that's totally cool.
Mhm.
Process at your own will. Keep us
Make sure to drink
posted.
a
Let
lot
us
of
know if you
water
need anything. Yeah, that's it.
and rest as you need to, and feel free to turn off your screen and move around. And if you're feeling a little
And now I would throw in a little pacing, future pacing, and I would say, so when you launch the business or when you put the website live, I really want you to let me know because I'm very excited to hear about it. And maybe there's some people I can send your way. So please let me know. I'd love to hear about it.
So when you launch your business, I
Look
would
at
love
that.
for you,
Look at her. Look at her.
love for you to send me.
Look
Send
at
me
who?
You. Look at
Look at
you.
me?
Yeah, you're just sitting there like grinning and being happy.
Well, because I'll be honest, because I keep looking at you thinking, oh my God, you were so adorable. That's
me.
true. Yeah.
So
That's why I was smiling because I'm like, she's the most adorable thing I've ever seen. You're just adorable.
I had to hide because I'm normally one of these, and I was doing it a lot, and I was like, oh, so cool, I'm in trance. And
Hey,
then
and you two, since you've worked together twice now, perhaps you could volunteer to practice together if you want. That's
Sure.
just a little suggestion I have. Okay, so Jim, can you bring back the group, please? What an amazing session. Amazing job, Leah. Amazing job, Gail. I'm excited for Gail to send us all around the world now. I'm excited for Leah to help a lot of people because obviously you're a natural.